basement. We were anticipating it, but we were assured by city engineers on a number of occasions in the last couple of days they made a slight mistake. The water started pouring in our basement late last night, and we've got a lot of problems right. You know, we don't know the extent of the damage. We came out here yesterday and took asking the city for a couple of weeks for sandbags so we could sandbag it, because we've owned the building or looked after it for a while, and we could sort of tell that there was going to be some flooding problems, and they had indicated that there was nothing wrong. And what we did yesterday is we ensured all the cars got out of the lower level of the parkade, because I could see how high the river was, and sure enough, our resident manager called me last night and said the parkade was now filling up with water, and it is seeping in through the weeping tiles under the floor, and that's what's causing a significant amount of the water to come in. It's backing up through the weeping tiles in the sewers. It's not so much coming in through the wall itself. It's just the ground is so saturated. But even where we have diked around emergency exits, we're getting tons of leakage through those two exits into the building, and the damage remains to be seen. It's what type of structural stuff will happen below the floor.
So what's the biggest concern now?
Well, the concern is that we keep the water out of the building, because if it then gets to the second level of the parkade, on that level you're starting to talk about the pits for the elevators, which could effectively shut down the elevators in a 17-story high-rise with senior citizens. Now, we've taken measures to alleviate that on our own. We have that one elevator will always operate, but we also have the hydro transformers in the building, and if the water reaches that level, we could have serious problems, you know, potential for fire and all sorts of damage. Winnipeg Hydro has been on CBC. We've had a lot of people running around looking, but up until that time we were virtually ignored. And we recognize that there's more serious problems, pressing problems, a lot of damage.
How many tenants do you have in the building?
There's 98 suites, so that could amount to anywhere around 150 tenants. And in the parkade there's 60 underground stalls, of which 30 are now moved out to the outside, and luckily
And do you have any idea if the tenants will have to evacuate?
No, I don't anticipate an evacuation, but they do say the water level's coming up another 5 feet. If that's the case, we might have problems on diligently. Conveniently, our plumbing company has had a plumber in the building that lives here, and he worked with us diligently till 2:30 in the morning last night, just trying to stop stem the flow of water, and we're working on it, and we've caught it in time that we can keep it out. But if it's a serious...
Hi, my name is Zélène Videon. I'm the Public Relations Officer for St. Boniface Hospital. We're standing on the permanent dike, which is behind the hospital, and as you can see, so that it's sort of even all around, or I guess into our tunnel system and into our basement area, because then our electricals and our generators are not working, and we would need to move the patients to ensure their safety. So patient safety is not currently at risk, but we are monitoring the river levels to ensure that the water is not rising too quickly, and to protect our patients and our staff.
What should, for people who are concerned about their family members, what should they be doing?
Well, I think that we would like to reassure them that their family members aren't at any risk right now, and to the hospital, because the phone lines are jammed up, and this makes work for us really difficult. We can't get calls going out, and important calls coming in are having a hard time getting through. So we would ask that people sort of refrain from calling the hospital unless it's an emergency. We will be keeping people notified of any changes, and should we need to evacuate, family going, and these things will be mechanisms. So we would ask that people not phone. We are currently diverting labor and delivery patients to other hospitals.
Great. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Plumber with Winnipeg Supply. Mention in your home what you can do as a homeowner to guard against sewer backup, and also against water from your weeping tiles, groundwater. There are, at this time of the year and what's going on in Winnipeg right now, there are things that can be done to help. There are things that can't be done. If the water comes up to a certain level, it doesn't matter what you put in your house, it's not going to help. The most common item you'll see is a flood cop, and this item is designed to protect the catch basin, which is the floor drain you see in your basement floor. This item is to protect that. There is another item if you have a bathroom in your basement, and that is a backwater valve. In older homes, these were never put in on the branch line going to your bathroom group. We install these. The City of Winnipeg will allow you to do it as long as you sign a waiver stating the fact that you have instructed us as a plumbing contractor to do this. If the sewer does back up, and this flood cup does close, you still have that weeping tile water coming in. That weeping tile water needs somewhere to go. If this is closed, it has nowhere to go. When we put a sump pit in, we'll tie a 3-inch. This will go as close to your catch basin as possible, and within reason, somewhere where it's out of the way, not going to be stepped on. This is tied to the catch basin, and this allows that weeping tile water to have somewhere to go other than coming out onto your basement floor. Probably the most common mistake we get is that this will stop the flood, and it won't. The water comes high enough, it's coming in the basement windows or wherever it can get in, and this is not going to stop. This is designed only to pump out groundwater from your weeping tiles. And the other misconception we have is people don't know what to call. This is called a back water valve. It is installed on the plumbing system, whether it be on the 4-inch coming in the house, or whether it's installed on 3-inch branch drain that's going to your bathroom group. And the flood cop, we call it a Baco flood cop. It's called a backup valve, but it is installed in the catch basin. It serves one purpose. If you do not have one, the best piece of advice is put one in. Clear water waste backing up into a basement doesn't present a lot of problems as far as bacteria goes. Sewage backing up into a basement, if it fills your basement with sewage, well, forget it. Everything's going to be destroyed, and everything's going to go up because it's just a big, big mess. And there's bacteria to deal with too. The basement's got to be gutted, almost completely gutted and disinfected. The cleanup is horrendous from sewage backup.
Well, great, Paul. Thanks for taking the time out. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Grace Shuchuk. I live on 218 Inglewood Street here in Winnipeg. The reason that I got involved in this effort is I just felt very compassionate toward the people in Grand Forks that were losing their homes due to either flood, fire, or both of the above. I had faxed a message to WDAZ Saturday night saying that rather than tie up their telephone lines, I could take calls at my home and then just fax them the information. They had several people calling from this area offering to open their homes to victims if need be. So from there it just kind of snowballed. I'm now, I guess, sort of a coordinator for some of the efforts coming out of Winnipeg. It's just been wild. I've probably taken 500 calls today, and everything from people offering to open their homes to others who are in need, baby clothes, adult clothes, non-perishable food items, transportation. You know, a few people have even said, well, if they can't get from Grand Forks up here and would like to come, we'll go down and get them. So it's just been great. Fantastic. I have set up an account at the Astra Credit Union located at 1907 Portage Avenue. The account is under Operation Knee Deep, which I have called my little operation here. They will take cash or donations by check or money order. If people wish to make donations by credit cards, they need to get in touch with the local branch of the Red Cross, and they will have the option of deciding for themselves whether they would like the monetary donation made with their credit card to go to Manitoba families, or whether they would like it forwarded to the American Red Cross to assist people in the States. Children, of course, are always utmost in everyone's mind. I have had several people call and say they'll drop by with children's clothing. Also adult clothing, because, of course, a lot of the people that have been evacuated did so at the spur of the moment and have nothing but the clothes on their back. So clothing for anyone, non-perishable food items would be more than welcome. If it's not used by families that have been victimized by the flood water, it can always be sent to the Salvation Army and be turned into something that could be edible by the sandbaggers here in southern Winnipeg. So one way or another, anything that people could donate will be used in the floodwater effort. My number is 889-2837. I will direct them as to, depending on how they want to make the donation, I can give them an account number or the address of the bank. The bank is located at 1907 Portage Avenue, and that's in the St. James area. So anyone who can make it to the bank to make their donation, it would be more than appreciated. I'm hoping that if people see people that are displaced and hear them saying that they need a place to stay and they don't know how to go about it, please, by all means, give them my name and number, have them call me. I've got plenty of homes available. I have probably room to billet approximately 600 people. So we can do a lot. Some of the homes may not be the fanciest. Some of them are empty apartments. Some of them are trailers. Some of them are basement suites. And some of them are just sharing a home with another family that's willing to put up with extra people in the house. I just want to say that you people are absolutely amazing. I never thought that I would be getting this kind of response from an initially little teeny-weeny offer to do someone a favor, but this has been fantastic. I've got people who have volunteered to help out. A friend of mine, Pat, is now looking after the telephone for me. One of my girlfriends from Gunton, Manitoba, her name is Rose, is willing to come in from the country and help me out. I've also contacted MTS and Cantel in hopes that we can get either a second line running into the house to take some of those excess calls and make sure that the people who are needing help can get through, or to get a cellular phone so that even though this phone is tied up, I can make calls, outgoing calls to agencies like the Red Cross or the Salvation Army to make sure that if there's people waiting there that need service, I can match them up to people who can give them what they need. I guess the biggest thing that I get out of this personally is just the satisfaction of knowing that I've been able to help people when they've needed help. I think if more people volunteered their time to different organizations, there would be a lot less stress on professionals and government agencies to be supplying these kinds of services. So anybody who's got spare time that can answer the telephone or maybe provide transportation to people who are in need of it, please give me a call and I'll be more than happy to take down your name and number and find something for you to do. Excellent. Well, I have another call coming in, Christine, so I'll let you go. Again, I thank you a million times over. Well, thank you. Okay. Bye-bye now. I just got a $1,000 donation from Partners in Planning Financial Services. This is wonderful. Hello, Grace speaking.
Well, 3 weeks ago, even about last Wednesday, I was sitting comfortably in Calgary, but we were launched off starting on Wednesday, and more people coming in as the last 4 or 5 days went on. As they saw the water levels go up in Grand Forks and Fargo, they realized that it was going to be even bigger than they'd predicted, and so they decided that there was going to be a requirement to ask for military assistance. For a lot of different organizations that don't normally work together, both civilian and military, and to get everybody oriented towards the problem and working collectively on getting some assistance out to the people who need it, the people who are working on the dikes and protecting their property, assisting people with sandbagging, with flashboarding, they call it, along the tops of the dikes, and any other tasks they need. The problem is the people out there, as I say, have been working very hard, and a lot of them are really, really fatigued, and sometimes just an extra few hands from people who are still full of energy can really make the job run a lot better. The best advice I'd give to people is, first of all, if they can afford to go help out and volunteer, because there's a lot of people who could use their help. And the next thing I'd say is, if you're not going to go volunteer, don't go sightseeing, because the roads are very full down in the areas and people working hard, and they don't need long lines of cars just essentially docking. The whole package we have here is called the headquarters of the 1 Canadian Mechanized Brigade Group. In normal terms, it's a headquarters that allows the Commander General Meeting to command his 4,600 troops as they move about the battlefield. But because it's deployable, as you say, it moves in trucks and tents and we can set it up anywhere, and because we have the ability to talk at long ranges, it's an ideal tool for this sort of thing. We bring it here and set up, and it allows him to be in contact with the units that are working all through southern Manitoba, to find out what the current situation is, to pass on new orders, and just generally keep a handle on what's going on. And then with this package of communications equipment and the signalers that make it work is the commander's staff, who are the ones that do the minute-to-minute organizing of issues, coordination, and talking to people to make the whole operation work. Citizens should not contact the military direct. The reason for that is we are here working for the province of Manitoba at their request. So the provincial emergency measures organizations defined a requirement They've come to the military and we are here, and we take tasks only through them. So the way the system works is the rural municipalities and the city of Winnipeg, when they run into a situation where they need help and can't provide it themselves, they talk through their chain to the Emergency Measures Organization, which then turns around, identifies the job, comes across to us, tells us what it is, and then we talk directly to the local officials and get out and get going on the job. And so as soon as they feel that that they no longer need us, then they'll let us go and we'll go back to our normal places. So whether that's a week or 2 weeks, it's difficult to say right now, because I think the real question is what would be the impact of the flood, particularly on the city of Winnipeg. That's the big question mark right now, I think.
Corley Martin, and I am here with John Longhurst of the Mennonite Disaster Service, and he's going to give us some information about his organization.
Thanks, Corley. Mennonite Disaster Service was actually created in 1950 when there were floods in Kansas. Mennonites have a long history of getting together to help one another. It sort of goes back to that barn-raising ethic that some people might be familiar with from Ontario and other places, where whole communities would come together to help each other. Groups of people have been coming together for some time to respond to disasters like floods and tornadoes and things. And somebody had the idea that, look, since we're doing this so often, why don't we get organized and let's make this a little more systematic. And in the 1950s, Mennonite Disaster Service, or MDS, was born. Since that time, MDS has responded to hundreds of disasters across North America. More commonly, it's in the United States. Fortunately, here in Canada, we are spared those kinds of disasters, such as hurricanes and tornadoes, earthquakes, that kind of thing. But there are times when MDS has to respond here in Canada as well. The most recent would have been in 1987 when Edmonton had its terrible tornado. And in 1985 there was a tornado in Barrie. Other responses since that time have been more local. But I think that this particular flood here in Manitoba is going to be one of the largest we'll ever have to respond to. The nature of it is it's just so huge, and I just can't imagine but that hundreds and maybe thousands of volunteers are going to be called upon. Right now, MDS is responding mostly in the southern part of the province. We aren't active as an organization right here in this. Want to create a parallel organization, but in the south we are active, and the places that we're active right now and where we need sandbaggers include Domain, Albany, Sanford, Niverville, Taché, and Brunkild. And if anybody would like to get involved, they can phone 746-2420 or 388-6091, and those two numbers will tell people where they can go and where sandbaggers are needed. Right now, of course, I think we're seeing just a tremendous response by the people of Winnipeg and in southern Manitoba coming out to sandbag, to help their neighbors, to help people they don't even know. That was my experience on the dikes when I was on school, people from right across the city. And I think that's just a marvelous exhibition of how people help one another. But there's an old adage that goes that when you go to build a sandbag dike, you can have hundreds of people helping you, but when you take it down, you're sort of on your own. And what that really means is that in the aftermath of a flood, when people return to homes, and particularly those people who return to homes where they have been flooded, there's going to be a lot of heartbreak, and there's going to be a lot of loneliness, and a lot of really crestfallen people, because they're going to look at those houses, you know, a foot or two of muck and all the damage and all the things that they lost. And of course, they're just going to want to sit down and cry, and they won't know where to turn. And at that point, MDS wants to step in to help. We'll be putting out quite a call for volunteers, probably in a couple weeks' time, asking people to step forward to help us with what will really be a very unglamorous and very dirty job, mucking out houses, mucking out barns and farmyards and all those kinds of things. But it will be oh so essential, not only just for people's homes, but just for their spirits, to have someone come by to help them out. Of particular concern to MDS will be people like the elderly, disabled people, people who perhaps don't have a lot of friends or relatives nearby and don't have natural networks where they can get a lot of help. And we'll be looking for those kinds of people, and they can contact us and let us know if they need some assistance. But as I say, that's going to be in a few weeks from now, because city.
What areas do you cover specifically? Like geographically, what areas do you include? Do you include just Manitoba, or is it down into the States, or?
MDS responds in North America wherever we're needed. As I say, there's a lot of people from Manitoba, for example, who spent time in Florida, in California, in the U.S. Midwest in the last couple of years. Help example, young people and older people from Manitoba were in Alabama, where we were helping to rebuild some of those terrible church burnings, some arson down in that particular state and some other southern states. And then we sent volunteers down there to help rebuild those churches. Those churches were very poor, they had no insurance, and we pitched in to lend a hand. And so we respond wherever we can. We can't do everything, obviously, what we can do according to our resources, but we're also plugged into the national emergency response networks in the United States and Canada. And when a disaster happens, they call on us to let us know what kinds of things they think we can do.
So from what you said, the most important part of this process will be after the flood has receded. And I was curious about how you're going to help people physically and emotionally after the floodwaters are gone.
It's not obviously, but after it, it's going to be equally important, and it's hard for us to know exactly right now what that's all going to entail. But from our previous experience, we know that following the flood, we are certainly going to have to help with a lot of cleanup. And you're right, there's going to be a lot of emotional support that people are going to need. I mean, right now I'm thinking about possible sewer backup in my basement, and I'm sure many other people in the city are too. And we think, oh, it wouldn't be terrible to lose this or lose that if that should happen, but I can't imagine what it would be like for someone to return home to a house that was completely submerged in flood water. And there's going to be assistance and support that we'll want to provide, and some of that's not going to be, anything more than coming around and saying, I'll help you clean up, and that can possibly lift somebody's spirits and just let them know they're not alone in the tragedy.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Longhurst, for taking this time to speak with us. And
Thanks, Coralie. I appreciate having this opportunity to talk to you.
Okay. And this is Coralie Martin for the...
Kind of walking around and checking the sights and the sounds of the flood of '97, but really what they're after here are people who are going to put their boots on and their gloves on and get to work and help these people. So we are getting a good look at everybody, all the people who were involved this morning on Scotia
Was it orderly, though? Was there any problems with the police on hand?
No, there were people and policemen surveying the area over the course of the morning. There were sign-up areas at either end of Scotia for the registration of sandbaggers and the dike builders throughout the morning.
Chuck, you were right down there. What are the dikes like right now at Scotia Street?
I honestly couldn't believe the height of some of these dikes. I mean, if the water gets any higher than those dikes that they've built, it's going to create quite a bit of water because, as we noticed there, Mr. Chrétien getting out of his car, and really at this point, I'll get back to the dikes in just a few moments. We see him getting out of his car, and he doesn't seem to have very many people surrounding him. But immediately we noticed Mr. Philman and Mr. Axworthy there. Immediately upon his arrival, he was quite literally surrounded by people, and he didn't have the necessary forces to kind of control traffic and give him a fair look at what was going on. I think we're going to be able to get some footage a little bit later of what he was supposed to be seeing, and that was the tremendous efforts that were being demonstrated by the hundreds of volunteers who were on hand this morning there, solidifying the dikes that have already been erected.
Did Chrétien give any statement on Scotia Street while he was there?
Well, we will have a look at that in a couple of moments once we see him make his way towards the different volunteers who were on hand. There was no groupment whatsoever in terms of the media being able to ask specific questions. In terms of audio, we're going to have to see if we didn't get to recover a little bit of what he did say. From my standpoint, I think the discussion was more so based on the general aspect of the flood and the different efforts that the federal government are going to get into in order to help the people with this flood of '97. So here we're seeing him march towards one of the residents who will be greeting him upon arrival to this specific home on Scotia Street.
Okay, we want to remind you this is unedited footage recorded earlier today.
That's right. So if it's a little bit shaky, you've got to understand it. And I must commend the cameraman who was there with me this morning.
That's a tough job.
He was a tall man. If I had been the one carrying the camera, we tiptoes there trying to get as much as he can.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you so much to Darcy Hunter. He was with you. I know he was just wonderful. Yes.
It was. He scrums as the media people know. It can get pretty aggressive and pretty violent in those types of situations.
First come, first served.
Now he's going to make his way behind that home and kind of survey from a first standpoint from the deck in the back of that home. He's going to see firsthand at what point the water level is, and one thing that I should mention upon my arrival this morning that I noticed, and what people have noticed, is that the water really has dropped since yesterday. And we may get a chance to look at that with some of the shots back here. I'm not sure if we'll get an angle to demonstrate that, but the tree line was about 8 inches higher.
It will hold the Red River back. We all know it. We have faith in the people that built it. We also are looking forward to some federal assistance over. As a community, as a province, we need to get together on this. We thank you very much for the dike, and we will hold our river back. Here. Thank you.
So there you have it. Nobody's allowed on the dike. There. Now he's going to make his way towards the dike to actually try and have a look at some of the efforts that are being demonstrated. We may get a look at here, and they were having problems with the media. People climbing on the dike to get some of the shots that they were requiring. And unfortunately, the people were unable. They had to get them down off the dike, and Premier Chrétien made his way back up to the front street, and then quite promptly left the site at Scotia Street.
We're going to get back to that in just footage from earlier today, live, and that's what happened.
Thanks to Chuck and Darcy.
Yes, we're going to get that back as soon as they can. But there we go. We're back now, and you can explain a bit.
Upon Chrétien's walk towards the front street, Obviously, many damages estimated here from the flood of '97. Reporters and journalists from all across the country trying to get to the bottom of all this. And really what kind of took Mr. Kitsing off guard was I think he was there today to survey the efforts.
Well, we're going to listen to the Prime Minister.
Everybody's participating. Ready for so what is very impressive is that everybody is helping each other and moving the people around. When I was outside seeing villages who nobody is there anymore and so on. It's a sad situation, but the Canadian people are behind the people and supporting as much as they can. What special federal aid will you be? Well, the program is when it's the first damages, you know, we have a formula that goes up to 90% of the cost. And it will apply. It's the solidarity of the Canadian people. When there is a region of Canada that's hit by a problem of this nature, no, it will take some time. It takes months and sometimes years before you have all the final information. And the people are working together. We have now a lot of soldiers who have come from all over Canada. We visited some who came from Valcartier this morning. And, you know, they all are very happy to be here and because they know they're doing something useful.
Are you going to postpone them?
Oui. On est au début de ce problème. La crue des eaux va continuer. Les eaux qui arrivent du...
You see that quite a scramble there, isn't it?
It was.
You were there.
It was.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
He started answering questions at that point from the French media. Thankfully, I was able to kind of get a feel for what they were asking. And the question did arise at that point in French as to whether or not the election would be postponed. And unfortunately, I was at a distance and wasn't able to hear the answer. All I know is that after the scrum, the respective media people were in a frenzy as to who got the answers and whatnot. It can be pretty intense, as we know, in those types of situations.
Yes.
So remains to be seen, obviously, in the next couple of days what will happen on those fronts.
Wonderful job.
Wonderful. That's quite amazing. And we must add, it was definitely a media frenzy, to say the least. Chuck, you did a wonderful job. Have you been anywhere else today, or just
today was mostly
Scotia?
on Scotia Street, talking to some residents there, talking to some volunteers there.
What are their spirits like down there?
How are they feeling right now?
Quite fair. There was one situation behind one of the homes where there was a small leak underneath one of the dikes. Now what happens is there were some trees that were right on the line of where the dike had been erected, and when they're laying the sandbags, what happens is some of the roots come up and it doesn't lay flatly, so that it leaks from underneath.
There, we've got another shot of the Prime Minister. Do you know where he's headed to and how long he'll be here?
He was going to be going back to the helicopter in Kildonan Park at this point, and we had no word yet on where his following place of visit was going to be. I'm assuming it was going to be in Winnipeg or possibly north of the city to survey the amounts of water that are slowly but surely accumulating north of the city in places like Selkirk.
Right.
Chuck, do you have any idea, on how long the Prime Minister will be staying?
From what we know, he will be in for sure as of today, but it's quite likely that he will be leaving tonight once again because, as we know, tomorrow might be the big day if an election were to be called. So.
Well, thank you so much. Good job well done.
Definitely.
Outstanding video, and
you
should be proud of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chuck.
Again, unedited footage recorded earlier today. Very interesting.
Anything else of importance that you can tell us? Chuck, you've been out there in Scotia Street and you've seen the people. We've asked you how they felt.
Well, speaking this morning with Mr. Jack Markertson, who is with the info team with the city of Winnipeg, he told me that they're now up to at the levels of 350 to 450 homes that will be placed on a possible evacuation standby anywhere from now to the next 12 hours and after that. So there are some people in the city, unfortunately, who within 12 hours will have a notice and will have to have a mandatory evacuation. situation. So that was an interesting note this morning as well. When we started all this coverage a couple of weeks back, the estimated number of homes that were going to be under surveillance for the flood was somewhere around 250. As of this morning, we were up in the range of 650 homes, which will be placed under watch for possible flood damages. So unfortunately for the people of Winnipeg, it's not getting any better, but by the looks of things this morning on Scotia Street, if people band together and keep working hard as a unit, hopefully good things are going to happen, and we will beat the flood of '97.
Stay tuned here for continued footage and stories. We'll keep you updated, and of course shortly we're going live to City Hall as well.
That's right. Right here on Cable 11, you're watching Plugged In Flood 97, your 24-hour information center on the flood of '97. Thank you very much, Chuck. That's great reporting in a time of
appreciate it.
All that emotion going on there. Thank you very much to Darcy Hunter, who was a videographer. He did his best with all those cameras around.
Thank you. We look forward to talking to you again, and more coverage to come, I'm sure.
Yes, more news breaking.
For sure.
Okay.
Some has been lost, something's been gained. A new perspective on this tired and weary place. If you've lost, if you've not, you have found a home in my heart. It will not be forgotten. We show the world to put differences aside, for our people are the treasure that we prize. And we are flooded with love, flooded with unity, and helping hands. We are flooded with pride, pride in our community, and friends across the land. We are flooded with love, flooded with unity, and helping hands. We are flooded with pride, pride in our community, and friends across the land.
Your spirit here tonight is unbelievable. How do you like this red-hot jacket I got for this evening? Yeah, me too. All right, so here's some real red-hot rock and roll right from Winnipeg. Ladies and gentlemen, Randy Bachman.
Yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Here's something that you're never gonna forget. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. I took what I could get in them. And then she looked at me with big brown eyes and said, you ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing. nothing yet. Here's some loving that you're never gonna forget. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't been around. In the world, phone in a pledge. Let's take care of some business. Alarm clock warning, taking eggs and feeding to the city.
it's a sad occasion. The devastation here, the reason for Randy and me being together again on a stage for the first time in 10 years. But there's nowhere that we should be other than here right now. And I would like to say, God bless Tom Jackson for organizing this so quickly and all his efforts outside the province too. Tom Jackson has scored big points in heaven for his work over the last few days. And we'd like to do a song now that was written by this guy, and no one in the world taught me more about music. No other human being ever taught me more about music than Randy did. And I think we should do a song that he wrote, a brilliant song written by Randy Bachman. She's come undone. She didn't know what she was headed for. And when I found what she was headed for, it was too late. She's come undone. She found a mountain that was far too high. And when she found out she couldn't fly, it was too late. It's too late. She's gone too far. She's lost the sun. She's come undone. She wanted truth, but all she got was lies. And came the time to realize it was too late. She's come undone. She didn't know what she was headed for. And when I found what she was headed for, it was too late. It's too late. She's gone too far. She's lost the sun. She's come undone. Too many mountains and not enough stairs to climb. Too many churches, not enough truth. Too many people and not enough eyes to see. Too many lives to lead and not enough time. It's too late. She's gone too far. She's lost the sun. She's come undone. She's gone too far. She's lost the sun. She's come undone. She didn't know what she was headed for. When I found what she was headed for, she's come undone. She found a mountain that was far too high. And when she found out she couldn't fly, it was too late. It's too late. She's gone too far. She's lost the sun. She's come. Done this together for 10 years, since 1987. This was a little something that happened one night a long time ago with the original Guess Who. This is great to be able to do this, Rand. This is for Winnipeg. My heart goes out to all you people who lost. I mean, I was watching the footage and I was heartbroken for you. God bless all of you. We'll all help, believe me. We'll get this happening.
Manitobans everywhere, phone in a pledge.
It's been inspiring to be part of this special event that has linked Canadians from coast to coast, an event which demonstrates yet again how Canadians join forces in time.
For myself, but you're gone and left me for someone else. I think of you every morning and dream of you every night, and would love to be with you always. When night began to fall, I cry alone, and I wish, baby, I could hold you in my arms tonight. Oh, darling, darling, you know I love you and love you for myself. But you're gone and left me for someone